997. 997 is not a random number. 997 is the number of times I've so far been asked, what am I up to? And so is the case of all the co-founders of EduSeva. Happy to meet you all. This is Surya Narayan, co-founder and CEO of EduSeva Technologies. And on the mark of celebrating our second year of successful and happy anniversary here at EduSeva, we wanted to present you a small video on what EduSeva is, what we are up to, what breathes life into us, and what dreams we behold within us.
So you know the typical joke in India, right? You first do engineering and then figure out what to do with your life. So in my case, I landed up in engineering, and then when I was working, I was wondering, okay, what do I do with my life? And I was thinking I wanted to work in a field where I had the most fundamental impact on the largest number of people. So as I thought about doing that, I thought about all the problems in India and the problems in the world. And I thought I could work on any one of these and that would be a meaningful impact. And then I thought, how do I have the most fundamental impact on the largest number of people? And then it came to me that people solve problems. Empowered, committed change makers are the people who solve problems. So, how are people empowered? How does change happen? When I traced it back, the answer I could come to was education. It is in the process of education that people are empowered, that people are capable, that people are imbibed with a sense of social consciousness which make them take up problems and solve them. So, what is this process of education and how does man making happen?
Education is the process of taking in knowledge, receiving knowledge, and hence developing the eyes to see reality in its manifold depths. But it's become a drudgy, burdensome process, a drudgery, where you drag your feet to school, to college, or even after that, to office. And hence it's not a joyous process of learning. We wish to change that, and hence that is why EduSeva, so offering services, different kinds of services. When we look at the educational space, we are talking of teachers and the learners. These are central to education. But apart from this, there is also the content. There is also the supporting aspects providing this knowledge space, like the administrative aspect, a school, a college, an institution. There is also technology used for management of the content. All of this we are interested in as part of EduSeva. But prime interest is in terms of teacher and learner, how we can enhance this process. And hence we are looking at one is technology-based solutions for managing the institutional infrastructure, content infrastructure, and so on. And also looking at inspiring the teachers and students, bringing in joyful learning process is the fundamental, and hence this educational process is so very fundamental to the well-being of human race as well as of the entire world, the other being as well.
So I've been in academics for the past 10 years. I taught in the computer science department. And in the past 3 years, I've been working on several rural education projects. So what I understood about the scenario in the country is that there are about 60 million children in schools in India today and about 28 million children in higher educational institutions. While rich countries and developed countries have about one teacher for 11 and 12 children, we have one teacher for more than 28 to 30 children. So I think we have a lot of scope for improvement in this area. And I strongly believe two things can bridge this gap. One is technology, the other one is teacher training. In my rural projects, of course, we have been working on teacher training a little bit. But how much ever the government does, how much ever NGOs does, there's a lot of, there's a big role that private players can play. That's where I see companies like EduSeva Technologies, startups by, visionary young people can really help bridge this digital divide.
When the spark of EduSeva happened, and once when we had these vision laying conversations with our mentors, then it became very clear to me on how I should shape my future and how I could collaboratively build an organization from its roots.
Have you ever taught something new to a student or a kid? And when they understand, did you ever notice a spark in their eyes, joy in their heart? For me, that is education. For me, education is igniting this curiosity for learning and providing platform where they can joyously pursue it. I am privileged. My guru initiated me and encouraged me to pursue knowledge. And I consider it as my duty to share this passion with our today's youth. Many of my friends thought so, and together we formed what we now call as EduSeva Technologies.
EduSeva was started with this vision of bringing world-class education to grassroots institutions. So when we look at this, we do this through a twofold approach. One is designing technology-based interventions, and the second is through our learning and development programs.
In our technological interventions, we began by creatively looking at how to bring a library to life just by changing the library management software. That was a creative and interesting challenge. From there, we moved on to create a lot of solutions in the last 2 years, working very closely with a handful of partners and also stakeholders in looking at how to bring the school and the parents closer to each other, how to help teachers manage their classroom content in a blended format, how to also help administrators and teachers to leverage analytics.
We always make it a point to make incremental innovations in all the platforms we build. It's an extremely interesting experience to work on this analytics dashboard, smart app for schools, and we also make sure we put a lot of thought into the user experience we build.
In our learning solutions, we have created more than 20 plus unique programs that offer various skill sets, technological and a mix of analytical skill sets to students, both school going students and higher ed students. Our chief mentors, Adi sir and Smriti ma'am, have co-evolved two signature programs in EduSeva. One, Joy of Learning, and two, Joy of Teaching.
Joy of teaching program that EduSeva has put together really, impacts certain dimensions of a teacher's life, be it the social life of a teacher within the classroom, or the technological dimension, or the pedagogical dimension. In fact, the interesting aspect of the Joy of Teaching program is the oblique quest that it addresses, because a lot of children ask questions beyond academics, and often teachers, are not equipped or less equipped to handle these things.
Both Joy of Learning and Joy of Teaching are tremendously successful programs because of the core value that they offer to the learning and the teaching community. So far, more than 5,000 students have registered and participated in the Joy of Learning program, and more than 500 teachers have benefited from the Joy of Teaching program. Another initiative that has been very close to our heart this year is the Nagarjuna Memorial Workshop Series. Nagarjuna Verma was an exemplary student of Adi Sir and Smriti ma'am. He was a great inspiration for all his peers and one among the greatest computer science enthusiasts. In his loving memory, with the support of his beloved parents, we went on to impart CS fundamentals education free of cost for more than 800 children across Tamil Nadu.
Be it our technology solutions or workshops, I could immediately see the impact that it had on the stakeholders. And for me, this was a very big driving force from within. And it also gave me a sense of purpose, a sense of responsibility to do and care more.
Work at EduSeva is exciting. And over the last 2 or 3 years, we've come up with so many ideas and our insights have deepened so much that we have a few decades of work to catch up with what we're ideating on.
Today we are celebrating our second anniversary. EduSeva is growing, and so are our dreams.
Over this time, I've come to understand the relevance of Indic models of education and the value that they carry. So, one of my primary areas of focus right now is, can we look at Indic models of education? Can we look at Indic pedagogical systems, Indic frameworks of thought, and find out if they have relevance in the way education is delivered today? Can it inform the way teaching and learning is done worldwide? Can it create a more open, vibrant, joyous atmosphere for learning? Can it create an education which is not only an education for living but an education for life?
Going forward, I would like to continue to work on the cutting edge frontiers of technology in order to explore the possibilities of addressing the local needs in the local context.
My vision for EduSeva is to provide a platform, to develop a platform where learning science will be more fun than playing, where studying science is doing science. We are already working towards that.
So, as a roadmap, as a teacher, as a guide, and as a mentor, probably I would want EduSeva to focus on teacher training in the future, a little bit on technological support for educational institutions, and then a lot and lot on motivating young children through technology.
We are deeply grateful to our gurus, role models, families, friends, and all well wishers. Thank you for all your endless love and support. Thank you.